One second, you're reading an article on your phone about your legal rights. The next, an officer is pointing a taser at you, and the entire situation has spiraled out of control. This started as a standard traffic stop. While the driver was ready to provide his information, the interaction shifted the moment the passenger decided to intervene. She began reciting an article she found online. The text convinced her that, as a passenger, she had no obligation to provide identification or follow the officer's instructions. This behavior reflects a growing trend, where civilians apply out-of-context constitutional quotes to volatile, live law enforcement scenarios. The resulting physical conflict illustrates the friction that occurs when roadside legal theories clash with the tactical reality of police procedure. Her first assumption was that because she hadn't committed the traffic violation, she was a free agent who could simply walk away from the scene. However, the rules for this scenario were established by the Supreme Court in the case Brenlin v. California. When a vehicle is stopped, a legal seizure occurs under the Fourth Amendment. This seizure applies to everyone inside, not just the driver. Therefore, a passenger cannot leave without explicit permission. All occupants are legally detained. Once the police lights activate, passenger autonomy is legally suspended until the investigation concludes. Blocked from leaving, the passenger tried a different tactic. She invoked her Fifth Amendment right to remain silent to avoid giving her name and date of birth. The Fifth Amendment protects citizens from being compelled to witness against themselves in a criminal case. But there is a legal distinction between confessing to a crime and providing basic biographical data. Giving your name during a lawful detention is not a criminal confession. The officers persisted because they discovered the passenger had an active, out-of-state warrant from New York. Invoking the right to remain silent cannot be used as a tool to hide a fugitive status during a lawful detention. When the officer ordered the wanted passenger out of the vehicle, she refused to comply. Under the ruling in Maryland v. Wilson, officers have the authority to order any passenger to exit a stopped car. This rule exists to ensure officer safety. It allows the officer to control the environment without needing any new suspicion of a crime. The situation immediately turned critical when the non-compliant passenger suddenly reached into the shadowed, unseen areas of the vehicle cabin. Reaching into a hidden space is a pre-attack indicator that suggests a potential weapon. This movement legally and tactically justified the officer drawing a taser to prevent a possible ambush. Refusing a lawful exit order constitutes active obstruction. This non-compliance authorizes officers to use physical force to remove a subject from the vehicle. We grade the officer at a B. He correctly applied the law regarding detention, though threatening less lethal force in a confined space warrants a tactical review. The passenger receives a D. Her misunderstanding of the Fourth Amendment transformed a routine stop into a physical altercation. Her resistance only delayed the inevitable. She was soon processed for extradition to a jail cell on Rikers Island. Constitutional disputes are matters for a judge. They are never settled through physical resistance on the street. Accurate knowledge of case law is a valuable tool, but relying on internet myths often leads to handcuffs and danger.